Welcome, one and all. I'm gonna go ahead and clean out this little statue here that you see. We have a neat village here that has been washed out by the creek, and you can see how you look down the profile of this and you can see a human being. You might also notice large disc style weird shaped faces here as well. We have some very large stones in this section. There's some big pieces of crystal that have the same motif on them, and you guys can see these tools and things that are just washing out of this section. We're not sure how old this site is, if it's just like a library or if it's truly a paleo site. I'm not really sure. Still trying to kind of figure all that out. But we have all these worked stones that have these little faint images. You can see how the little circle carving right here for an eye, and as I tilt this, you can see how that point becomes a nose. It just resembles a little human image, little statue here. When you look at it just right, you guys can see that. Sometimes looking at it upwards is better. Pretty nifty. Little portraits and carvings and things all over all these stones if you look closely. And these guys knew how to look closely at stone. They lived by stone. They worked with it. They didn't have metal. And so this is kind of like a time capsule placed in here with pieces of pottery, which that's what this is. This is, you can see the texture of it. This is actually a pottery piece. If I smashed it, it would break. It's a fired clay object here, extremely light. And there's a little duck head in here I can see. You see how the smooth carvings are done here. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can pull this little guy out. Might be a little alligator head, not sure. But you can see how this is done to look like some type of amphibian or animal head. And don't really feel super great about doing this because we are kind of destroying a site here, but you see how if you look closely into that clay pack, I'll zoom in just a little bit here so you can see. Inside of that clay pack is going to be the perfectly, just like a Play-Doh eye, painted onto there. They were masters of nature. They packed these in clay, and the clay that they packed them in, they also put the little eyes on the characters as well. So you can see the worked edges on this for you archaeological types, and there's little human silhouettes. You can see the pokey nose and the clay still inside the little spot there for the eye, the little silhouette there to the right. And like I said, it's probably a duck head to the left, and then of course different humans and characters will be positioned all over this, believe it or not. When you get really good at seeing this like they were, you'll notice that there's 15 or 20 different images on each one of these, actually much more. So this long nose character, you can see how this is all part of one piece of a crystal here. Let's go ahead and zoom back out. So thanks for joining me for this, guys. We're gonna just take a look at some of the artifacts that were placed inside of here. This section of the creek is getting washed out, and all these artifacts, they are susceptible to getting damaged. So you can see how this is a statue of a woman. See how the nose is poking out. Whenever you tilt this, you see how the rest of this comes back as long hair. And the chin, how the chin line is represented there. So this is still painted. And so just look at it as if it's a 3D image here, and we can look at it maybe looking up. So you see there, all right, it's little characters on the bottom here, you can see how they come out. And as I turn this, we'll find more and more of the same. Some of them are painted in even. Go ahead and take a look at that nose going this way. So you can see how we have maybe like a bird-shaped nose, that line for the eye as we tilt it. There's also an eye hidden up here for a longer, bigger face. You can see just on the white section here, just looking at the white, there's going to be a little character embossed on that. As weird as it sounds. The eye, the nose, the mouth, the chin line, the hairline. It's just a little character of an indigenous person there on the stone. An ancient person, perhaps. I don't know how old these are. So if you guys want to help out with that, email me for ways to help get some carbon dating done. So I want to get this gateway out right here, and kind of almost want to take this guy out of here. So I want to see what else he is. If he's this beautiful portrait here with his hair coming up and everything, might be a statue of a woman. But some of the stuff that surrounds it, of course, is, you know, very important as well. So we have these little bird effigies. You can see these weird shaped stones. Keep our focus for us here. Let me zoom in just a hair. Try to keep our focus. Sorry about that, guys. And I could probably switch hands here in a minute too, but you can see how these little ridges are done. These are little bird effigies. The head might be pointing backwards on this. So you can see, maybe you put it like this. It's like a little hawk. See how sharp the lines, definitive lines for that are? Let's go ahead and give it a little wash here. I'm gonna switch hands as well, so that I don't shake you guys around so much. Thanks for hanging out so far. Really appreciate it. So we'll have a little long face character there. There's our little bird embossed on the end. And in every which way, and there we are. Every which way you turn it, there's gonna be little birds and humans. Look at the longest point as the nose there. That's all that it is. Getting a little detailed for y'all, I know. All right. So there's a lot of blades and things in here as well. And what I really would like to get is a portable water sprayer, like a battery operated water sprayer. I could just spray all this out. That'd be super cool. So here we have, inside of here, you can see the green, all the fibrous materials. There's organic materials inside of these that they were packed in. And so there's dyes and scents and things. Some of this stuff smells extremely good. But inside of this effigy cache, you can start to see the colors of the clay that they baked it in. And there's, like I said, even fibers and things on here. I'm not sure exactly what that is, if it's just algae, but you can see this dark. No, that's string of some sort. Might have just washed in, who knows, but it's with some dark clay. No, it's just a root. It's just a root. But the dark red clay and the different smells, oh, that's the stuff right there. It smells really, really good. I'm not sure what it is, but it smells amazing. It might be like that whale fat stuff, aubergine or whatever. When I was first researching this, I kind of ran into some of that. For some reason, I ran into finding like a big blob of that stuff. I didn't know what it was, and I think that's what it was here. It smelled really, really good. And when I looked it up, it resembled the smell of it. This stone caught my eye because of all the hash marks and markings on it. You can see it's going to be a really beautiful effigy, harder to see, but it is just a bird facing to the right and the left and in different directions, little bird heads. You can see the faint image there with the cheek right there and the eye. Very pretty one. This whole thing, guys, I don't think I can do it. I know that it's just about to get washed out anyway, but I don't feel like super amazing about ripping into this. So I'm not going to do the whole thing on video here. I'm going to kind of take my time with it and figure out the ways that I can get some of them out. And, you know, before they just get all released into getting destroyed. Because this is about preservation, not about destroying things. So, really neat one here. These fit in the hand very well. And you can see this odd shape. There's little profiles here, if you look, little cartoon faced characters, and if you look closely where that eye is for the bird right here, you can see the spot coming out in the diamond very well. And you can see how the beak is recessed in a kind of a corner shape, and then might even be able to make that into a human face. This is a really nice, easy effigy, kind of a soft one, not too crazy. Let's go ahead and wash this one off, because it is a nice one. So these were family stones, ways of keeping track. There are photo albums, guys. This is the first photo album. And there's so many great ones here I can see that are getting washed out. You see these fresh gateways. Never been exposed before now. Brand new. So kind of want to get them out from their place now, since they're not protected by their clay packing anymore. And want to get them safe. So that's what all this is about, is really just trying to raise awareness for this so that maybe this site could get protected, or this area could get protected, or at least you could come out and document some of it. I really don't know. It's in the middle of a neighborhood now at this point. So people do know about it. I've had things that I've left out and people have taken them. So I know people have been coming out here, but we do have an eye on the place. So as you guys know, we got all the local landowners and things are all on board with all this stuff. So, you know, this is owned by the state, this creek. So there is probably some cedar in here, maybe just some tree roots that have grown up, but oftentimes they put chunks of cedar inside here as well. So I'm going to take out some of that good smelling stuff and save it, because I always like to try to save that stuff. And I might take a look at some more of these crystals, but let's go ahead and take this one out that we saw that's exposed right here just recently. Pull up this nice worked stone here while we're at it. Look at the edge on these. Beautiful cutters, and you know, they represent animals and things in certain ways, but these, you know, you can say, oh, well, this is all just natural. You're not going to find this many in just one spot. You know, it just doesn't happen. It defies probability, right? You don't have to know that these are artifacts or anything like that. You don't have to really, I mean, even if I'm pulling out these big cedar spear points and stuff, these are all preserved in the rich red clay that just popped out of here. All these stones are all pecked. Every single one of them is, and either pecked or polished. So, I mean, you don't have to know everything about it yet. Trust me, I know. It's a lot to take in. However, you know that this is defying probability. You know. I mean, there's no way that this could actually happen just by accident, right? Like, you're just not going to find this many with a curved blade like that. I mean, your archaeological evidence is most definitely here. Every single stone has these large, long, curved, sharpened blades. And yeah, you might not be able to see the faces or the other images on here yet. You might not understand why these dark black lines are inside this crystal. But you know something's going on. And for that, you subscribed, and I really appreciate that. It's awesome. Really gives the channel a lot of validity when you guys do that. So really appreciate it. So we'll end on this one. This is going to be a really pretty one. You guys can see perhaps two eyes, just a silhouette of a person staring right at you on this crystal. You can see the bottom of it, how the swirls that we were just looking at might resemble hair. We can face it right at us and make the image perhaps go to the left. You can see how it's just like a cave painting. Look at the only color on the stone, the cheekbone. You see how the cheek is represented, the nose and the mouth. Looking at it like this, perhaps he has a bird on top of his head, painted in. And as we tilt the stone here, we're going to tilt it to the right. We can see that there's a character facing just on the edge of the right. You can see perhaps a mouth down here. And then as we tilt this further, we're going to be able to see more and more. So how now it doesn't have two eyes necessarily. It might still have that same one, but just look at that one as if the person's looking away. You can see how the rest of this dark section is resembling hair. So we have these things that, you know, we can say that they're not real. We can kind of just say, hey, we don't want to worry about that. But the problem is that everyone else can see them.